Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. This is Force with another Destiny video. Today's guide will be showing you how to solo this week's Nightfall, which is Winter's Run. Something very interesting about this particular Nightfall is a lot of the strike actually clears itself for you because it features a constant battle between the Fallen and the Vex. And that's immediately showcased as soon as you enter the strike. There are a few goblins and dregs sort of duking it out. It's one of those situations where you can just let them fight to the death, but this part's easy enough for you to just pick off a few, plus that allows you to get some ammunition as well. Now the first major room that you're going to walk into is the Winter's LAIR, and this is a big battle between the Fallen and the Vex, and I highly suggest you let this play out for at least a few seconds because they're going to kill each other fairly quickly. A couple of notes though, there are a few hobgoblins up high in the back that are going to be worth sniping off, as well as anyone who might come close to you while you're sitting by these rocks here. And then there's a big Hydra that should be pretty much dead center. You also want to take him out, I guess, as quickly as possible, honestly, because he is one of the bigger threats in addition to those hobgoblins. Once you've cleaned this up, keep an eye out for any stragglers, but once you've cleaned this first bottom area up, you'll be moving up the ramp to the top area, in which there's probably going to be at least one or two hobgoblins way in the back, but beyond that, most of the enemies up here should be cleared out because they have been fighting each other the whole time you were taking care of the bottom half. So this first room is quite easy. Next we move into the CINDERS, and in this area the first thing you're going to want to do is clear the goblins by the crates as you make your way on down, and to the right there's a whole bunch of crates sitting there. You want to take out those goblins because you'll be fighting most of this upcoming encounter right here by these crates. It's one of the safer positions off to the distance. There's also going to be a few hobgoblins past the bridge, so make sure you take them out, and with the Vex and the Fallen fighting below, most of them once more are going to kill each other, but you're probably going to have a remaining Minotaur just because those guys are so durable, and in the runs that I've done so far this week, the Minotaur has been one of the few to survive. He has a void shield, which is just something to be mindful of. Once all enemies are dead, you are then tasked with deploying your ghost to open the hatch, and this is where you will be starting the survival wave of 3 waves of enemies. I want you to head right back to those crates that we cleared earlier, as this will be a very safe position to take out each of the waves. So the first wave you have will be a ton of goblins, some major hobgoblins, those are the ones with the yellow health, and then some minotaurs. Now all of them will be spawning below you, so as long as you're past the bridge by those crates, you should just be able to pick them off from the distance. I suggest first taking out the hobgoblins since they can snipe you from far away, and then pick off most of the goblins, and then finally clear up the minotaurs. Now an important note is that if you're running low on ammunition, before you finish a wave, leave one enemy left. This is going to give you the opportunity to hop down there, pick up any ammo that you may need, run back up, and then kill the last enemy. Now you want to wait to kill the last enemy until you're up top, because once you start wave 2, there are actually going to be 3 hobgoblins that spawn right near the bridge, and these are major hobgoblins, so they've got a lot of health. So you want to wait until you're in a safe distance by those crates and then start wave 2. The 3 hobgoblins spawn. I suggest taking them out first, and then you just have to deal with the enemies below, which will be a bunch more hobgoblins as well as some regular goblins. A note with all the hobgoblins in wave 2 is that they do throw grenades, so just be mindful of that and don't get accidentally stuck and blown up. And then lastly, you have got wave 3. This wave is actually quite easy from this crate position. There are 3 Hydras as well as a ton of Harpies. Now the Harpies have an arc shield, so if you have like an arc sniper, you can take them out in one shot. And the Hydras, with all the burn damage that this particular Nightfall has, were actually pretty easy to take down as well. And now that the 3rd wave is complete, we'll be heading into the Ash Coves. Now I do suggest getting the pike, but I want you to be very careful because you can die incredibly fast when you're on it. We're going to be making it through to the first big clearing, in which you should get off the pike and snipe the 3 hobgoblins that'll be on the left hand side of the canyon. There's also 2 more hobgoblins further down which you can snipe at this point, and then there are some goblins, harpies, and minotaurs. All of these you can kill pretty quickly with the pike, but again, be careful because you'll die pretty fast if you get too close to fire. And then further down the coves, you're going to find the spot with 2 Hydras. There are some goblins in the front, there are some goblins and hobgoblins goblins on a ledge on the upper right. So clear up the goblins in the front, then take care of the guys on the ledge, and then kill those 2 hydras. And then finally, we'll be moving on into the boss area, which is Winter's Run. When you immediately arrive here, there are a few Vex fighting Fallen, but it's predominantly Fallen in this area, so you're not going to be able to, unfortunately, have most of the enemies kill themselves. With the Fallen, you've got a mix of dregs. There are some captains which have a arc shield, there's some vandals, and then some shanks which have a solar shield. Now as you're clearing up this area before the boss, be very mindful that a dropship will be coming. So as soon as it does, I want you to book it back to the drop-in point where you start off when you drop into the boss area, because this is where you're going to be the safest. In fact, you should probably stay here for most of the cleanup. There's going to be some dregs that will be charging at you, and some captains may get a little close as well, so just be aware of that. If things get hairy, you can actually hop back onto the top of the ledge and, you know, replenish your health and then jump back into the fight. And as soon as you have finished off all of the Fallen in this area, you're just going to head into the front of the prison to release the Archon Priest, and then immediately I want you to jump onto the rocks and duck underneath the platform that is behind the prison. And this is where you'll be staying for the entire boss fight. You are safe from a majority of enemy fire. Some stuff can still hit you, so just be careful and make sure you're sort of tucked right underneath the ramp. And this way, if things get too hairy, you can just sort of push yourself into the corner where you'll be safe. Enemies will come out that you may want to shoot if they get in the way of you shooting the boss, but I found that, honestly, you're just going to be getting a lot of headshots as the boss will be sticking far enough back to try to hit you where you can hit him with a sniper rifle, and this is also going to stagger him, which makes this fight incredibly easy. Alright guys, that is going to do it for this Nightfall solo guide for Winter's Run. Thank you so much for watching. A little bit longer than the previous solo guides just because I think there's a lot to talk through, but either way, hope you enjoyed it. Stay tuned for more Destiny and other great gaming coverage coming up here on the channel. Hope you have a great afternoon. I will see you tomorrow. Keep watching and keep owning.